to uh, Tr- uh, Dresden is going to be hosting a show on July 13th. Last year, they had a show, a charity event in honor of the Dresden Junior Kings. Jay Smith helped set that up. We have tickets available. Please contact me if you want to be a part of this and support them. We love reaching out to different charities and supporting that, and you can join us. Contact me, scumbagswrestling@gmail.com, or on our Facebook page. We get some VIP seats available, and you don't want to miss out on that. It's always fun when, especially the cameras for uh, the Fight Network are not going to be there, so you never know what could happen, and it's still going to be really fan and family friendly. July 21st, New Kids on the Block, Smash Wrestling returns to the Tannery Event Center in Kitchener, Ontario. The Kitchener fans have always been really passionate. They're the third home, especially for TV, for Smash Wrestling, and you don't want to miss out on that. Then we hit August, and wow, SummerSlam weekend, Smash Wrestling, with their partnership with other organizations, is going to be hugely strong during that weekend with eight shows in 4 days, all happening at the Midtown Event Theater. It starts off on August 7th with Oriental Wrestling Entertainment, OWE. We saw them part of AEW's Double or Nothing. They're going to have a show at 4 p.m. Smash Wrestling versus Progress is happening August 7th at 8 p.m. August 8th at 4 p.m., WXW has Ambition 11. Later on that night, Progress Wrestling has a show at 8 p.m. August 9th, WXW has a live event at Midtown Theater. And at that same time, later on that night at 8 p.m., as we've been mentioning numerous times, Super Showdown 7. And we know that those two matches, especially Mike Bailey challenging Kevin Bennett for the Smash Wrestling Championship, is going to happen. Then on August 10th, the Summit Women's Pro Wrestling event. It's all women from Smash Wrestling, Shimmer, Femme Fatales, and Rise. We know that it's going to be the first ever crowning of the Smash Wrestling Women's Championship with Casey Spinelli against Rosemary. There's going to be Allison Kay. There's going to be Shotzi Blackheart. Lufisto's going to be there. All the titles from all four organizations are going to be on the line that day. Huge event, and that happens at 9 a.m. But I think there's actually the event doesn't start till 11. I saw there's an advertisement that Bull Nakano is coming to that event to do a meet and greet plus run a seminar for the ladies. So that's huge. She's totally changed since we saw her with Alundra Blaze. Definitely dropped size, and you wouldn't recognize her to see her unless you Google her. So that's going to be huge for the ladies that day. Also, August 10th, OWE is an event at 3 p.m., still giving you time to possibly go to Access and NXT Toronto. So, August 10th, you have a chance to see 3 shows all in one day. And then August 24th, Born to Be Wild Smash TV tapings here in London, and that's going to feature Gail Kim. Chris, what's your thought on all this events that's happening between now and August 24th?
There should be like 3 or 4 of me so I can attend every single show I want to. I know right now I've got 6 different events that I'll be. I can't say that I'll be going to. I've got 6 different events that I've got tickets lined up for. The unfortunate part about that is I'm going to only get to go to 5 shows in 4 days at this point. And I shouldn't say unfortunate because I'm lucky as a fan to be 2 hours away from Toronto, which is absolutely amazing. But yeah, it's as a wrestling fan, you know, in the month of August, you can't not go to an event in the Toronto area and not get your money's worth. I mean, Sean mentioned a whole bunch of promotions and this and that, but I mean, Union Professional Wrestling, the Union Independent Professional Wrestlers, hosted by Anthony Kingdom James, is taking place. Destiny Wrestling has a show. You talk about OWE, Smash Wrestling, WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan. Every one of those promotions is going to have a show in the Toronto area within a matter of days. Sean mentioned Bull Nakano coming in, which I didn't know about that, which is absolutely huge. And that's part of the summit on August 10th. You've also got Mercedes Martinez, Nicole Savoy, Nicole Matthews, Rosemary, Casey Spinelli, Zoe Lucas, Ariel Monroe, Priscilla Kelly, Shotzi Blackheart, Lufisto, Jordan Grace, and of course, announced today was Allison Kay. So it's that event alone, just the summit alone, is going to be absolutely phenomenal. As a wrestling fan, it sucks. Sometimes you have to pick one show over the other, and I'm having a hard time right now, to be honest, between the Smash Wrestling show, Super Showdown 7, and the New Japan ROH show taking place. Main reason being is because I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is my pride and joy as far as wrestling promotions go in this entire world. And then they announced, because of the affiliations that they have, that the NWA World Heavyweight Championship is going to be defended on the show taking place the same day as Super Showdown 7. So it's basically a teeter-totter right now, and I'm not sure which to go to. But you mentioned the fact Mike Speedball Bailey taking on Kevin Bennett and Tyson Dukes taking on Jason Kincaid. And it's tough as a wrestling fan. And it's also the fact is it's costly, But if you want to get your money's worth and you want to get your fix as far as a wrestling fan coming up this August, I mean, there's not a reason or in the world that you can make to say, hey, I don't know if I can go, or hey, I don't know, if any of these shows are going to interest me, because that's absolute BS. If you want to go, make the time, hit a GO train or via rail or whatever the case may be, and just get there. I mean, I know myself and Sean included. I think, Sean, you're hardcore as far as Super Showdown 7 goes, right?
Exactly. I have booked off time from work. I'm just now trying to figure out my hotel accommodations because my wife wants to come up with me, not go to the wrestling, but she wants to come up that weekend as well. But I plan on being up in time for Super Showdown.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm blessed with the fact I've got in-laws in Toronto, so I've got a place to stay. But in saying that, I mean, I get to enjoy shows. With me, it's more about trying to figure out transportation, how to get from one show to another, whether or not do I have to hotel in the city because of the fact the summit takes place so early the following day. Past I think the summit's on the Saturday, and the Friday night is, I think, the Friday night is that's the ROH slash Super Showdown 7, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and then in between all that, I've got NXT TakeOver, SummerSlam, Progress Wrestling, and I believe there's one I'm forgetting as well. But I don't. I'm WXW and OVE, obviously, or OWE, sorry. And it's absolutely amazing. I mean, I went to 2 shows in 2 days as far as Smash Wrestling went this past weekend, and that was phenomenal and tiring all at the same time, But as a wrestling fan and somebody who's been following this since the age of 3, it's worth every single moment, every single penny. So I challenge you as a wrestling fan to get to Toronto and make this happen for yourself, because who knows when it's going to happen again.
Yeah, I think I know a bunch of guys who are going to be there, including, I believe, Trevor from the Wrestling Nerds. He's going to be hitting up, I believe, NXT and SummerSlam. Also, Conrad Cushman from our friends over at his podcast, Everything Pro Wrestling. He's going to be coming from Buffalo, New York area for that, and we're going to meet up with him briefly just to say hi, join up podcasts maybe briefly for a couple seconds, and just share some love that way for wrestling.
I was going to say, how cool would that would be to get every single local guy into, say, one restaurant or one bar or whatever the case may be, just to do almost like an audio podcast, just as far as the experience goes for that weekend.
It would be amazing. We'll have to see if fates align and we can pull something like that off. So that's the Smash Wrestling calendar that's coming up over the next while between now and August 24th. Uh, Before we wrap up this part of the podcast, this part of it, which is really long and about Smash Wrestling, a couple of injury updates. Kevin Blackwood, I saw recently this past weekend. He's on the road, traveling at least, which is amazing. He's starting to take bookings as of July 12th, so there's a possibility he could be at Smash also during those August shows. And the big news also is that Daniel Garcia has put out a amazing video hyping up his return. He's available for bookings, and he's going to be doing a show in Ottawa for C4, and so he'll be available to soon come back to Smash Wrestling. But unfortunately, we did get an announcement from Shiloh from the West Wrestling Factory that unfortunately she damaged her ACL and is going to be out for about a year. However, she's had a lot of people comment on that post, encourage her to keep her chin up and focus on her return, but make sure that she's healthy before rushing back. And I believe she has a huge, great support system from all her friends, family, fans, and the factory. So there's no doubt that Shiloh's going to come back really strong and continue her upstart career. So we wish her the best in her rehab right from the start. And your thoughts quickly on those three people before we end this podcast.
Yeah, so as far as the Buffalo Brothers go, thank you that they're back. And I told Puff that I bought one of his cozies this past weekend, and it was basically it's as a wrestling fan just grateful just to see him in front of me again. Can't wait to see them all back in the ring. I'd love to see the four of them get together as a group and just demolish Smash Wrestling in the Ontario independent wrestling scene. But fortunately, I'm not the booker, but I'd love to see it happen. Daniel Garcia, you mentioned, is officially taking bookings again. So ironically enough, you've got C4, which is Capital City Combat Champ. I always get the name confused. That's why they call it C4. Anyways, whatever the case may be, it's taking place in Ottawa on June 21st, and Daniel Garcia is actually facing Stu Grayson. So it's, talk about a tough challenge to begin with. That's absolutely amazing right there. As far as Shiloh goes, gets well soon. Tough part about being indie wrestler or wrestler in general is the fact is, with every bump comes the potential of an injury. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And, she's definitely got huge potential because I've seen her watch the matches after her match has been done. Same way Violet Lee was. So it's, get well soon, and hope to see you back in the ring sometime very, very soon.
Excellent. So thank you for being part of this. We've gone on a really long time about Smash Wrestling, and it's no complaints at all about it. We're going to end this podcast, and hopefully, unfortunately, we're not going to get our predictions in on time for Super Showdown, but you'll hear our predictions later on this weekend on part 2 of episode 59. And remember to subscribe on whatever platform you have and join us on Facebook. Thank you, Chris. We'll talk in just a couple minutes.
The Signature Spot with Chris Toplack is a weekly podcast available every Thursday that covers the world of professional wrestling. It's an easy-to-digest show that ranges from 30 to 40 minutes in length and focuses on show recaps, highlights from the week, industry news and rumors, full event previews along with predictions, topics of the week, and featured guests such as journalists and fellow podcasters. It's a professional yet personable show that's all about connecting with you. To subscribe, head over to youtube.com/The Signature Spot or listen on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever podcasts are available. And to be a part of the conversation, like The Signature Spot on Facebook.
Hey, I'm Alec Realm, and you're listening to the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast.
Granted, I understand it's essentially the same unappreciative crowd full of scumbags from last night,